Well, the new school year is underway, and new studies find kids already have a lot of work to catch up on at school. According to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the average reading level of young kids has dropped by the highest margin in 30 years.
News 8 Now's Dua Israr spoke with one local elementary school staff who say the gap was caused by remote learning during the COVID-19 pandemic and that getting back on track is going to be difficult.
Educators believe reading is a gateway to the world.
Ooh, that one was hard for us earlier this week.
But when COVID forced schools to shut down, teachers say the gate closed and kids were left behind.
Kids are realizing, I can't read. There's things that I'm not catching on to.
Since the 1970s, kids have either met or increased national math and reading scores. But with every year of the pandemic, kids fell further behind, leading to the largest gap seen in 30 years.
Shelley Long and Courtney Kirshner are two of the three reading teachers at La Crosse's Northside Elementary School.
You practice.
They are responsible for repairing the pandemic gap affecting 75% of their students.
We have more kids than we can service in small groups.
Kids who were in kindergarten when the pandemic began are now in third grade and are still struggling to read full sentences.
Ground slowly.
When the mask had come off, we kind of looked at each other like, wow. They can't see how we were forming those because we couldn't see them practicing how to do distinct sounds.
The reading gap has also created bigger issues.
Going to have a long-lasting effect for them well into adulthood.
Principal Nikki Pope says kids with the pandemic gap struggle with anxiety and communicating their feelings.
Instantly becomes to frustration and shutting down and oftentimes aggression. And that's difficult for teachers.
There are ways to minimize the gap, but Long and Kirshner say teachers can't do it on their own. They want parents to encourage reading at home.
Read to them, take them to the public library, use the public library.
And while the gates to the world may have been closed for 2 years,
They still want to do well, they still want to learn, they're still very curious.
La Crosse teachers believe kids will find a way to succeed. Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
Staff at Northside Elementary say kids who didn't have a parent at home to help them with online learning were the most affected.
And the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction says it will release its own study in the fall to get a better understanding of the gap statewide.